guys, welcome to Theology Thursdays, where we answer your questions on God, faith, and culture. My name is Sarah, and we have a first-time guest with us this week, Mason Cheatham.
That's right.
Super
Good
excited.
To be here.
Yes, I mean, one, his first time, and two, really, we have a great question to ask him specifically, and I don't know, why would we ask you this?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt a little bit attacked whenever you came to me with this question.
Yes.
But you know what? Here we go.
I think he's just, you understand the culture, the youth culture these days, right?
Yeah, I understand the youths, but also...
being young
yeah,
yourself,
that's
so
it.
Works.
But yeah, I mean, there is a lot that goes into this, and so I'm excited to be able to get to talk about it.
Awesome. So our question today is, what's wrong with vaping? I know a lot of you might have this question. Maybe you don't even want to try it, but you're just curious, what's so bad about it?
Yeah.
So what's going on?
I mean, yeah, no doubt. This is a huge topic in our world today. We talk about it a lot. I mean, it's everywhere. Schools are talking about it. It's all over TV. If you watch the news like an old man like me, it's on the news every single day. And so really, the world is asking, what is wrong with vaping? And so we know right off the bat, and I know you guys probably hear it too, that really it's not good for you. So we know that studies are showing that it's just not good. You could twist things no matter which way you want to, but we know that generally it's not healthy. And so we're not going to attack that much today because
you hear about it enough. So
but again, this is Theology Thursday, right?
Yeah. So what does God have to say about it? That's what we're really asking.
Yeah. So that's actually a funny thing. You know, I was reading my Bible, trying to find.
You read the Bible?
Yeah, every once in a while I try to read it.
Guys, we only ask people on who read the Bible. Just saying.
So that helps, but I was reading the Bible trying to answer this question. And so, funny enough, Jesus never says anything about vaping or Juuls, mango, peppermint, doesn't
That's
say
shocking.
anything about it. And so
I feel like he was just that was one of the 10 Commandments.
You think he missed it?
I think he may.
No,
he wouldn't.
Okay, you're right.
He's perfect. So
here's what I came up with. I don't think really at the root of it, and this is why I'm excited to actually talk about this topic, not specifically vaping, but just in general. I think this is something that we all struggle with, especially I struggled with this myself when I was in high school, big time, even into my early adulthood as well. And so really what I think that the problem with vaping is not just vaping itself. I think the biggest thing that we want to hone in on is that that we are under an authority, the law, government, whether you like it or not, has set some rules and some things in place that help give us guidelines for what we would consider a healthy life. And so in doing that, when we break the law, what that says about us, no matter what it is, if you're underage vaping, for me in high school, my temptation was speeding. I got 5 tickets in a couple months. I was on probation in 2 different counties at the same time. That wasn't a fun time in life.
That's just not smart.
Yeah, it's also not smart.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned that now.
Just gonna toss that out there.
You got to have a part-time job to pay for those tickets. But the heart of all of that comes down to, even while it's not smart, the heart of it really comes down to this one thing, and it's the heart of rebellion, right? And so if you don't know what I mean by that, it's not just an us thing or a generational thing. No, that's a thing of all humanity from all time. We see that in Genesis. God created it, Adam and Eve, and everything was perfect, and then they rebelled against him. That's what we call sin. So when sin entered, it stored in us a heart of rebellion. And so anyways, when it gets down to that, I really think that it's an authority issue. We rebel against what the authority has established over us. And so I get questions a lot. I've had conversations with students of hey, what's the big deal? Why does vaping really? Why is it bad? Why can't?
Besides the health issues and things we've talked about, really, what?
Yeah, it's not that bad, right? And I'm no, it is, and it can lead us to a lot of different places, right? And so I did find a passage that I'd like to share with you guys. It's in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6 and 8. So really the context here is pretty simple. So we're talking about the elders of the church. So the elders are the governing people of the church. They set up the rules and kind of give some leadership in that. And so as the church, we fall under that. Right, and so just like we do with our government and that kind of stuff, we fall under the leadership of those people. And so we talk about them a little bit, and then it changes to those who are under the leadership, right?
Gotcha.
And so it says this, again, this is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6 through 8. It says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. Be sober-minded, be watchful. For your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour." And so, students, that's what I feel is really the heart behind this. We have an enemy who is tempting us. He's prowling around like a lion. He's ready to attack us.
I wore my shirt to be ready. Lion shirt.
That's perfect. And so that's what vaping is to me. Vaping is definitely one of those modes where it conditions our heart to be way more susceptible to this rebellion that we struggle with every day, whether you know it or not. And so I know that for a lot of us, like we think that it might not be a big deal, like a big sin. It doesn't really affect anybody or myself right now. Like it's not a big deal. And students, the reality is that a lot of the times we keep little sins around like this in our lives, and here's what I mean by that. It's like when if Sarah were to get a pet lion, right?
That'd be cool.
That seems so legit, but when it's a cub, it's super cute and cuddly. It just rolls around on the ground. You can kind of like mess with it. All your friends will love to hold it. Like, you get so many likes on
awesome.
Instagram.
Super easy to take care of at that point. But
then what happens to the cub? It grows up, and so that cub's going to grow up to be a full-grown lion, like hundreds of pound animal, and
a little more difficult. Right?
Yeah, you can't just like push it to the ground to push it away.
Okay.
It's a little nibble on your finger turns into a full-on bite. The next thing you know, this lion has instincts that are far out what you ever could have expected. And so really, that's what our sin does. Our sin brings us in, and it seems innocent and cute and cuddly, like it's not going to hurt anything. And the next thing you know, you turn around, and that
it bites
sin
off your arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's full grown.
Yeah.
And so, I've heard it said like this before, that sin takes you faster, further than you ever wanted to go, than you ever imagined, and it keeps you there longer than you wanted to be.
Yeah,
right? And so
sure.
This is definitely one of those places in life where, look, I get it. I feel it for you guys. Like, the temptation is real. It's there, and it is very strong in our culture today. But no doubt, this is not just abnormal to today. There will be another thing in the future. There has always been, and there will always be something that tugs at your heart, that's asking for your attention, that is inviting you to rebel against the authority that God's put over us. And so that just would be our prayer for you, is that you would stay strong, that you would find the truth in this, that this would be encouraging to you, to not just resist it for the sake of resisting, but that you would fight for holiness in your life, and that you would be willing to sacrifice what might be comfortable or cool right now for what really God has planned for you in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Mason. I know the realness of what we're seeking is to bring glory to the Lord by pursuing holiness. And so that's our hope through this, is just we're starting the conversation to seek him in it. So guys, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you like this video. Definitely subscribe to our channel so you can get updates on future videos, and leave comments below for more questions that you have so we can answer them in the future. Guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.